Alrighty then. Hi, it's Ron McCracken, also known as Running Ron, and this is Zeus, also known as the Zooster Rooster. Hey, Zeusy. Uh, Wanted to give a quick update on everything, I guess. Not everything, but today, Friday, January 29th, 28th. Anyway, yeah, Friday, January 28th. Um, Makes 997 days of sobriety for me. And feels good to say that, and it's still a little surprising. So Monday, I'm going to make 1,000 days of sobriety. Something I never thought I would try for, much less achieve. So I'm happy about that. Got a lot of things in the oven. As most of you know, I've been doing a lot of mental health advocacy. And last Sunday we had another one of our recovery workshops, formerly known as Recovery 101 sessions, another recovery workshop. And it was another good one. Had some technical difficulties, but other than that, it was really good. But moving forward, today I got an email letting me know that I'm still being considered as a guest speaker for the Boston Marathon Expo in April. Tonight or tomorrow, I'm going to start working on it tonight. I'm also going to be submitting a proposal to speak at the NAMI National Conference in June in Atlanta, Georgia. I spoke at the NAMI Texas State Conference, and that's National Alliance on Mental Illness for anyone who doesn't know. Spoke at the NAMI Texas State Conference in November, and that went really well. And I'm really happy that the YouTube video I made of that has almost 600 views now in just a couple of months. So people are watching it. Hopefully, it's all about my PTSD recovery journey. Hopefully it's helping people, and I think it probably is. It's getting a lot of views, so that makes me happy. But just reminding myself of that I've come a long way, and this goes for anyone going through the sobriety journey, whether you're a month into it or 3 months into it or getting close to 1,000 days like me. Just give yourself credit. And if you do relapse, then get back on and start over again. Don't beat yourself up too bad about it. But I want to talk a little more about the Boston Marathon Expo. And it's really a great honor that I'm even being considered to be a guest speaker. That's something that would be huge for me, because of course it would lead to speaking gigs at other big marathons and other events, and just be a huge thing on my resume. And that's something that, it's funny exchanging emails about it with the people in charge of that and thinking more about it. They did ask me a month or two ago, I think it was 2 months ago, that they did ask me if I was planning on running Boston this year, which I'm not, unfortunately. But as I told him, had hernia surgery in May, and I wasn't in marathon shape anyway. But after hernia surgery in May, went 40 days without running, just a lot of walking and everything. So I've got some good aerobic fitness now and everything, and I'm building on that, feeling close to back to normal. But targeting April 17th, 2023 Boston Marathon to actually run it again. But the thing that's funny is I'm more excited about the prospect of speaking at the Boston Marathon Expo than I am about the possibility of actually running it again, which I think will be a certainty. And just a lot of great memories of Boston, of course, of 17 Boston marathons that I finished. And, well, the one year that I wasn't allowed to finish, 2013, I had the distinction of making it farther than any of the 5,700 who were stopped and prevented from finishing, because I snuck past two police barricades, or kind of didn't really even sneak. I just kind of pushed my way through the crowd. There was just this massive crowd gathering around. Just kind of pushed my way through there. So I was stopped about 2/10 of a mile, maybe about 3/10 of a mile from the finish line by the National Guard. And I've talked about that in other videos, but a lot of memories with Boston, mostly good, a few bad memories, but that's part of the story too. And they did, a couple months later, send us our finisher medal. And also the following year I got this Boston Marathon scarf, and the story behind that was the Trinity, I think it's Old Trinity Church that's down by the finish line. The ladies working there, they put out a call around the world for people to make scarves for the runners who were returning in 2014. The only stipulation was that they had to be the official Boston Marathon colors, the blue and yellow. But other than that, the scarves are all different sizes. More than 7,000 people from around the world responded, and they each made these very individual scarves. My friend Ron Little, who got one the same time I did, his is completely different than mine, other than they have the same colors. But so this one of my absolute most prized possessions. I'll keep this forever. This is a very special scarf. Got my yet another homemade Boston Strong shirt. But it's just kind of amazing how all this has progressed, and all of this is in large part due to my sobriety. Now, I had cut way back on my drinking by August 2017, when I started seeing my therapist. I'd cut back on my drinking, and I continued to cut back, but I was still drinking almost every night, and drinking too much and too frequently. I was progressing in my therapy, but I did notice once I stopped drinking on May 7th, 2019, that I progressed by leaps and bounds after that. And what that did was, you get that clarity of thinking. That's something that people talk a lot about with sobriety, is getting that clarity. And you just see everything more clearly. You think more clearly. And something that started to happen is I started thinking more about forgiving Jahar Tsarnaev, the surviving Boston Marathon bomber. And I realized by summer 2020, I have the video actually where I realized that, but I think it was July 2020, I finally realized that I reached that point where I could forgive him, and that felt like the weight of the universe off my shoulders. That was just an amazing feeling. I remember the moment that I realized that, because I had had so much hatred and anger and thirst for vengeance towards him, and realized once I did that, once I reached that point of forgiveness, that was a gift to myself. It made everything a lot easier, and I realized how much that thirst for vengeance and that anger and hate was holding me back in therapy. So I progressed a lot more in therapy after that, just massive progression. And really, I think that most of that can be traced back to getting sober. And just letting go of things like that. That's just the best way I can put it. So looking ahead, we have this possibility of speaking at the Marathon Expo, which again wouldn't be happening if I hadn't gotten so involved in mental health advocacy with NAMI and also with these seminars I've been doing. That was my 9th recovery seminar that I spoke at last Sunday. So I did 8 of those in 2021. We're going to have at least 6 of them in 2022. In spring of 2021, I spoke at 4. I served as a storyteller at 4 different NAMI Days of Action, where we speak to, and this was virtually, of course, but we talked to state legislators and or their staffs about bills related to mental health that are up before the Texas State Legislature. We did have some successes in that. There were a few that didn't get through, but we had several great successes with that, and we're going to keep at it, of course. So I'll just get more and more involved with that and making these videos, and I'm overdue for a podcast. My podcast is on Anchor FM and Spotify, Running Ron's Marathon Journey to Mental Health. Please give it a watch and subscribe, or give it a listen, I should say. It's just audio, but I'll make tonight or tomorrow I'll make a new one. I'm long overdue on that, but none of that stuff would be happening without sobriety. So I urge anyone who is dealing with any mental health conditions, whether it's depression, PTSD, anxiety disorder, bipolar, just any mental health condition, to do whatever you can do to get sober, whether it's alcohol or other drugs. And make no mistake, alcohol is a drug. And it's funny, my therapist says very accurately, it's the only drug that in our society we have to justify not using. Forget the shaky camera there. I'm just holding up my phone making this. So that's about it, really. Just wanted to give a short update. I was hoping it was going to be shorter, but I hope that I'll be returning to Boston in April, and I will be bringing my flag with me. I ran with my flag tonight. Most days I run with my flag, and that's something I started, as many of you know. I started that just a few days after the bombings, and it's something that initially was just a security blanket for me, but I found out it really resonated with people. And don't underestimate the effect that your actions and words and thoughts can have on other people, the positive effect. And I'll leave you with this quote from Nietzsche. I hope I'm saying that right. That even though I know German, ich kenne Deutsch, that name is still something else. But quote by Nietzsche: throw roses into the abyss and say, "Here's my thanks to the monster who didn't succeed in swallowing me alive." I'll say that one more time. Throw roses into the abyss and say, "Here's my thanks to the monster who didn't succeed in swallowing me alive." And that's everything for me. That's the alcohol and the self-destructiveness, the depression, PTSD, anxiety disorder, all that, everything. I've managed my way through all that, and now a few more days we're going to hit 1,000 days of sobriety. Feels great, right, Zeus? And excuse my hand there. There's Zeus, the Zeuster. And by the way, Zeus is officially my emotional support dog. So, they're right, Zeus. He plays a huge factor in all this as well. But that's about it. Just wanted to share all that. And in the words of Jedi Master Yoda, remember, luminous beings we are. Y'all take care. Boston strong.